Okay, we're live, everyone. How we doing tonight?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's we're doing a Valentine's Day special tonight. So Betsy,
Not your average Valentine's Day special.
yeah, Betsy's been
Listen, there are some things you don't want to search for on the internet, so I had to be selective in my wording in my search fields for this evening's episode. you if I accidentally took put in the wrong word or prefaced it incorrectly, what I found was the strange side of pornographic sites. So
oh,
I would not suggest it. I would not suggest it. But tonight we're going to bring you guys some Alien Valentine information. And not Valentine, I mean, it's not always good. It's not always good.
yeah, I sent Betsy down a rabbit hole, I think.
Oh my hell.
And
Well, and then I felt bad because most of these stories, what happens is you read it and then you expect there to be a last paragraph that says, and then she was, institutionalized for some for some mental health issue, but no, I mean, the strangest the strangest part about the information we're going to share tonight is these people that have these experiences are all very grounded in this earth, in this life, in their jobs and their home lives. They're not, I mean, they're like professional people.
well, some of them are married, and
Yes.
not that being married makes you automatically a sane person, but
But, they have, this earth, in this life,
yeah.
they have lives and
Before we really kick off, though, could anyone throw out a comment? How's the sound on your end?
yeah, are we coming through?
But yeah, it's but yeah, so I had heard about some of these stories before, and I thought that it
Mm.
would be fun to send Betsy after it.
To send his sister down the rabbit hole into the world's weirdest kinks, obviously.
Is it a kink,
Yeah,
or do you think it's a delusion?
the people that we will speak about tonight believe in neither of those. But if you search incorrectly, there's a whole universe out there.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I would suggest you don't. Just for the sake of your corneas, do not. Just
Well,
avoid that altogether.
so we're probably not going to have weird news unless, something
Trust
really
me, this is weird enough.
yeah, unless something really strikes our fancies. But if you guys have any weird news you want to bring up in the notes that we can announce, we're definitely down for that. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll kick it off now. We'll let Betsy start off with the show.
Okay, so throughout history, people have claimed, and this is not new. This goes back a really long time. There's been paintings in Egypt and paintings in Peru and carvings in stone of people having relationships with aliens.
Now, do you think, like, in the ancient stuff, this was maybe they thought it was demons or angels?
Well, that's the thing is they're I mean, if we're just going to just call it, it's bestiality. Because they are non-human. Okay, so trust me, if you go down that hole, you find at the end of that some
Uh-huh.
things that are very familiar bestiality wise. However,
What?
it's
How?
don't do it. Just
Okay.
don't. So they've claimed to have had these romantic or erotic relations with a variety of non human entities, including gods,
Uh-huh.
including demons, fairies, angels, jinn.
Uh-huh.
In the modern age, these stories continue to persist in the form of otherworldly lovers, so to speak, descending from the heavens, wherever they
Uh-huh.
come from, another dimension, whatever it is. And if you're unlucky enough to have these beings come in, or lucky, I guess, if that's your thing, they, in some cases, steal your sperm or impregnate you with what would be considered a hybrid.
Now, we did have that one guest on who told us about her meeting her um this was almost probably a year ago, right?
Yes. She met her children. It's probably been a year.
Yes. Yeah, it's been about a year. Now she didn't seem or allude to that she had memory of making those children, right?
Okay, so that's what's crazy. What's crazy is that's like that's like the next step. So you first, oftentimes these abductees admit that they have children, and it's almost too far for them to admit how these children came to be.
So you think they
It's trauma related. So now the recent polls, and we're talking 2019, they did a poll.
Okay, hold
6%.
on. So 2019, they took a minute from polling presidential elections, from polling whatever, and
Yeah.
opted to. Okay, go on.
So they did a poll, and these polls indicated that up to 6% of Americans claim to be abducted. So that is a small number until you consider how many Americans there are.
Yeah, 6% of 370 million. That's over like
It's a
10 or
it's
13 million. So, oh, wow.
it's a lot.
And
So
these are all people um, that at the least claim that they have had um, relations.
well, these are just abductions.
Okay,
Now,
just
not all of these
okay.
abductions end in alien hybrids or otherwise.
And in well, if I was
In
ever
My Sweet
abducted,
Valentine.
if I was ever, oh man,
So, however, in a large number of these, the experience is so unpleasant, and the abductees often say that their captives lay them out on a table, and for the men, they forcibly extract sperm. And
okay, how do they forcibly?
listen,
Do the aliens not know? Spend a few more minutes and you don't have to use force.
for the women, it's a little different, but it's kind of the same thing. The
Now
egg,
that one, I'm sure that one's I would consider more violent.
it's an implantation.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe violent isn't the word. A little more intrusive would probably be the
I think
word.
both would be just terribly
Well,
intrusive.
it is violent, but yeah.
So there's a couple of common explanations. The UFO lore, or the people that that take this data, um, proclaim it to be. One is that the aliens
So is
are in
this
a.
like a CNN poll or
I didn't get called about any
Router,
polls. Not presidential,
Reuters, or
not abduction. I don't know. I don't. Maybe you can sign up for
imagine
them.
imagine you're just calling uh,
Is
number
Dolores home?
number after number.
is is Dolores available? Hi, Dolores. We're calling to see if you've ever been abducted.
It's just
One of the explanations is that aliens are in a reproductive bind in their home world.
yeah, we talked about that. They're future humans that have lost their humanity because they started growing their babies, and they're trying to get their humanity back.
So the idea is that they can no longer successfully procreate.
Yeah.
And so they have to come to Earth and likely other, planets that have, sprung life to
Uh-huh.
use those being as incubators to spawn alien offspring, or to use that sperm to spawn alien offspring wherever they are.
Okay.
The other is that the aliens are just simply producing hybrid beings that will somehow help them to
Infiltrate.
infiltrate and take over the planet.
Yes. They want to gain control.
So scientists, of course, they're dubious to these claims. There's never been like a photo, like on a cell phone or whatever taken, like, look what he's doing to me, to brought back for proof. I mean, I guess one could be produced, but
Well, if there was a photo or video, I think you would have to go to the voyeuristic side
oh
of
my
the
no.
internet to watch that.
So an instructor at University of Oxford in England, Young Hai Chi, he teaches Korean at the university, also claims to know that these abductions are real, and he claims to know what the aliens have in mind. In lectures that he gives at the university, he says they're creating alien human hybrids as a hedge against climate change. And to support this,
This was a
unorthodox theory,
this guy came out, wasn't this in like 2016 when he came
mhm.
out and was saying this? Okay.
So she notes that for several decades, the number of reported alien abductions has risen. Again, I don't know where you get these polls. I don't know. I don't know.
Door knock, going door to door.
Ma'am, do you have time to,
Like a
to
missionary.
talk to me about your Lord and Savior Jesus?
Lord and Savior Gleek Clerk.
But he bases this statement on the work of David Jacobs, who's a retired Temple University historian who also has published several books on ufology and runs the International Center for Abduction Research.
Uh-huh.
Didn't know there was one until I started doing this, deep dive. Now, Jacobs has interviewed more than 1,000 people who claim to have been abducted, and uses all kinds of method to help them recall their unearthly encounters.
Well, I know that hypnosis was a big one.
Hypnosis. They also do what they call like memory training, where they teach them how to,
Unlock.
not just unlock, but moving forward, how to remember, and that helps them to unlock
how
behind.
to kind of a maybe a lucid dreaming.
Yeah, how to dig into that.
All right.
So the links of growing numbers of abductees to increase in atmospheric greenhouse gases is what he's implying is cause and effect.
So the aliens.
The greenhouse gases go up at the same time as
So the aliens
abductees
come and visit more often, and they're trying to make a hybrid. How would the hybrid stop greenhouse gases?
not stop it, but can better withstand the rigors of
They're
a
just
warmer
making
planet.
a hardier critter.
Yes. So by producing a new model of you and
Mhm.
I, this would eliminate the need for climate accords and geoengineering projects.
But then there's still got to be a point where it gets too hot even for the hybrids under that theory, right?
Well, it's claimed that preserving a part of their DNA that's carried into ours, that they are creating temperature tolerant, both cold and hot hybrids. And we've talked about this with panspermia. If the universe was seeded
Uh-huh.
somehow, whether
Uh-huh.
it's, some cataclysmic event or
The
whatever.
catapult. Yes.
The catapult. I forgot we called it. I'm building a catapult.
The alien catapult. Yeah.
So, if it was seeded and some of those seeds landed on colder, less habitable planets, then the evolution would have been differently. If they
Yeah.
were darker planets further away from a light source, perhaps their eyes would become more almond shaped and
Bigger.
bigger, and their skin, I mean,
Might be a different ashen gray to collect more.
whatever, to retain heat. Their
Mm.
slimy texture so they can slide around on their planet. I don't know.
So it can slide on the ice like penguins do.
You need to make an alien t-shirt where that penguin knocks the other one in. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
so that's what Dr. Chi presumes.
Okay.
And so his argument rests on those two things simultaneously increasing at the same time. Now,
I'm still down with they've been cloning for so long that they lost a bit of their humanity or humanity, whatever. Like their humanity, they lost their compassion and their drive, and they're all just drones, and they want some of that back, maybe for a particular reason. So it's future humans coming back in time to breed, for lack of a better word, and sorry it's so crass, but to breed or to make genitalia back into them so they're no longer Ken dolls.
okay, so we've got a couple. We'll go. We're
But
going
we
to
got
bounce
some
back and forth.
stories, right?
I've got some stories.
Oh, we need the stories. But first, let's break through the comments because
Yeah.
I saw a couple of good ones pop through.
Before we leave this, this train that's sailing down the tracks.
Oh, it is crashing hard. Okay, so Jessica says that explains my son Isaac. Jessica, you are going to have to go into much more detail. Was your son Isaac a
Does he have
breeder, or
large?
or did your son Isaac was he the outcome of a consummation with something else? We need more details. We should go down more. She might have more.
So check into this. She says a woman impregnated by her spouse abducted, and the embryo was implanted with alien DNA, and the child looks human but has abilities. Again, pregnant women. So it runs the gamut. Pregnant women claim to have been abducted and something is different, kind of like what Jessica is describing here. And other pregnant women claim to have been abducted.
So like they're
come
adjusting
back.
the embryo after impregnation.
Yes. But other pregnant
I
women.
still want to picture the alien sitting in there in his smoking jacket. Little Marvin Gaye playing on a turntable.
He's like 3 foot tall. His feet go.
He's got his legs crossed. He's sitting in like a lounge chair. Come on in. Have a seat. Can I make you a drink? I want to. That's how I want to picture this happening. I don't want to picture the clinical lights and stuff. I want to picture it. This is Valentine's, people. If you were to be abducted for breeding, how would you rather it be? Would you rather it was the romantic my style or the clinical other style? So Jessica says it's called.
Which is more traumatic? The romantic my style.
Which one would you rather remember under hypnosis?
Oh, clinical.
Okay, it's called harmonic convergence, and humans think it's cool they don't realize they're being used. Humonic.
I mean, you would have to.
Is that where they what is that? Uh-oh. This is going to go deep. This is how we get kicked off.
Yeah.
Shall we read it? Jessica,
Oh,
we're
Jessica.
staring down the barrel of this
Okay,
gun.
so should the beer flu
Ooh, yeah.
inoculation be coding, or could the beer flu inoculation be coding or DNA to acclimate to the higher temperature? I would say yes, if it was that cool, but I believe the beer flu is safer than the beer flu inoculation.
What's the CHRSSPR? To edit our genome if we need to acclimate to higher temperatures.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, Jessica, they lost their ability to love. And this is Valentine's coming up this weekend. Hopefully everyone
Tiffany
has...
posted a penguin.
Yes.
Forever think of them like penguins.
Oh, yes. All right, so...
I'm going to get into some stories.
We've got to do the story. We've got to jump into one right away. This is what we're all here for. We gave you an appetizer right now as the main course.
Okay. In 2013,
Okay.
a city councilor, an elected official for the seaside town of Stakesby in the UK. Now, he came out and claimed this before he was elected.
Uh-huh.
So he made this all public.
So he got elected after he got
After he made
by...
this all public.
Okay.
No, this happened years before he even ran
We need
for
a
election.
Deadpool going on right now in the comments. Was this a loving situation or clinical?
Loving.
Oh, yes.
He visits her several times a year.
Oh, yes.
So he claims that he had a sexual relationship with an entity that he calls the Cat Queen.
So imagine like the flying saucer lands and the door like shh, and she's standing there leaning up against the wall, backlit with a different color light.
So he claims that he even fathered a daughter named Zarka with his alien mistress.
Go on.
With his alien mistress. What was that sign you threw up?
Zoltan, that was off of Dude, Where's My Car, the alien worshipping cult.
So he believed that his first extraterrestrial encounter was in the womb. He also remembered having another in his crib at 6 months old when a being reached out to him with two green, like beanpole arms, and he recalls thinking, they're not mom's hands. My mom's hands are pink, and my mom's hands have thumbs. These are green and pointed, and there's 4 of them. So telepathically...
Okay, hold on. He's dreaming that a green critter with long, skinny, noodly arms is reaching out to him.
4 arms.
With 4 arms?
Yes.
So it's like an ant or a spider.
And he says that he overhears and telepathically replies, this thing says, I am your real mother. I am your more important mother.
This is the councilman. So not only is he breeding with one, but he is the offspring of one.
He believes he's been adopted, kind of. Now, he goes
adopted by the humans or the aliens?
The aliens.
The aliens adopted. There's like an agency. You go through the paperwork. They come and visit you at the Earth Orphanage.
So this is where it kind of goes off the rails for me. He says his first sexual experience was at the age of 6.
Uh-huh.
With a green creature.
Uh-huh.
About 7 foot tall, wearing a purple robe.
Uh-huh.
This was the Cat Queen.
I'm telling you, leaning up against the door frame.
Purple robe.
All
flowing.
seductively.
Now, he describes her as the Cat Queen because he says that She has very large eyes, small nostrils, and a thin mouth. And he admits that this continued sexual relationship with the cat queen
She's
has.
green,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's got a fetish. Like if he sees the color green, he's got to excuse himself for a minute.
Well, it's put a strain on his marriage
Oh, really? Has it now?
because he says that he has extraterrestrial. He doesn't call it extramarital because he says it's not human. He has it around 4 times a year. His wife, less than impressed.
Oh, I'm sure she's not impressed.
Yeah.
That's... Go on.
So,
His wife should start having her own.
he also says that I get more common sense out of the aliens than I do out of the Scarborough town hall where I work. The aliens are far more aware of stuff. People in the town hall seem not to be aware of the needs of the people.
The needs.
Yeah, the needs.
He has needs, people.
Yes.
You think he ever comes home with like a green rubber suit? And
Where have you been? Let me smell your breath. Let me smell
his
your breath.
wife to put on the green rubber suit, the green PVC number.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't with some of these. So he's got a totally normal life outside of this. Next one.
Okay, Jessica, you say, nice save. I'm not cheating. She's not even human. Gosh, calm down. Now, you still couldn't say that. Say it was the neighbor's dog. Still doesn't excuse his actions. What he should say is, he should come out and say, I'm being raped, honey. I'm being raped. And
then
not
she'll
that
feel
that's
bad
a
for
good
him.
thing,
Yeah.
well, if he's just saying that, that's BS. Maybe I retract that. But would it be rape? I mean, he sounds like he's all in.
He goes and sees his alien daughter Zarka. I agree, that's a pretty cool name, you know. And the cat lady comes cat calling 4 times a year, 4 to 5 times a year.
She just got to get her fix.
Next one. A painter named David Huggins from Hoboken, New Jersey.
That's still one of the coolest names on earth for a town. Hoboken.
I don't
dig
know.
it.
There's there's some funny ones in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Well,
So he claims that starting at the age of 6,
man, they hit him young.
I know, that he started being abducted at the age of 6. And when he told his parents about his encounters, once too often, he would get a whipping. They would say, knock it off, quit saying stuff like that. People are going to think you're crazy. So he kept quiet after that. Now, he claims that very early on in these abductions, he lost his virginity to an alien-human hybrid named Crescent. Not croissant,
Not croissant.
Crescent. You almost made me drop my croissant.
Name
Crescent, like crescent moon or crescent.
Well,
the
that's
shape.
what croissant means, is crescent. Again,
Croissant-
time for Jared to wander down one of his...
Croissant
Why does
is
Jared
a
know this dumb
baked
information? You know why the croissant was invented?
Mm-mm.
Because Napoleon had just beat a Muslim army.
So he was like, you know what I need?
In celebration, he
Make
had
me
him,
a croissant.
he had him bake crescent bread goods. That's where the croissant comes from.
Well, that is extremely
I know, Jared takes you down.
shallow of him.
Didn't I say Napoleon just a minute
Okay,
ago?
that's true. That's true.
All right.
So he was walking to a lake in Georgia when he encountered this alien who appeared mostly human with some alien features.
Hold on. Let's go mostly human. Is that like up to the neck and then it's got a goofy head? Or is that human all except for like
Listen, I know some
the
people
pelvic
who
girdle?
appear mostly human.
Break it down. I mean, general shape. If you squint real hard in the dark.
It's what is it, a 10-yard? So he said she was wearing a wig.
Remember that show where those kids
can't
fly
with
that
this
like
information
garbage
tonight.
spacecraft up there and they look kind of like they're chickens, and they've got eyes on stalks.
Yeah.
Throw a wig on it, mostly human. Suction cup fingertips, leaving you fingertip hickeys.
He says she has large eyes and a pale pointed face.
She looks like the dude off Beetlejuice when he pulled his face out.
He goes on to say that she disrobed, so he did as well. Listen, if a mostly human creature disrobes, do not engage.
You look pretty close to human. I mean, your breasts are on your back, but
leave the area. Oh.
How crazy would that be? The aliens come. You're thinking you're having the contact of the fourth kind. They come out of their flying saucer and just start stripping, doing a pole dance on the landing
How
leg.
presumptuous of you. Oh. So over the years, he says he fathered over 50 hybrid children with Crescent. He says that many of these encounters were observed by insect-like aliens that Huggins identifies as the leaders. So they're the pimps.
Okay.
They're the pimps.
They're voyeurs. They're what? You go in there and you hear the coin fall, and then the curtains slide to the side, and the arachnid aliens are in there.
Listen, that's what they were on Men in Black.
Yeah, they're steaming up the glass. The dirty, dirty, dirty mantids.
Okay, so he says he often saw a number of different aliens being present during these visits, including like the Greys and the ones that resemble, he says, Sasquatch with luminous yellow eyes. Listen, I didn't know there was a Sasquatch type alien, but we've pondered if Sasquatch is an alien or
I think there was one
multidimensional.
in Chiago's book.
Oh, I'm sure there
A
is.
hairy one. I think I looked at that. Yeah, that's insane. So he's like on Gleep Glorp Hub and freaking being broadcast all over the I don't know, what would you call the space internet? The galactic internet, and he doesn't even know it. Doesn't get any royalties, no credits. He's getting robbed.
So he also says that there is a guy, a very tall, masculine energy alien. He's very thin, very angular, and he has a hair bun on the back of his head. Listen, I knew they were a bad idea.
He's got a top knot.
He's got a man bun. Listen, terrible idea.
Wearing plaid and tight and skinny jeans.
I will know you as an alien hybrid if you have one of those. But he says that this guy was more of the boss, and he would communicate with these insect beings. And on several occasions, when Huggins was introduced to the children that he had sired.
His name's Huggins.
Huggins. He said that he received this static electricity shock from touching one of the infants. They're electrified.
What?
Yeah, you heard me.
The kids are shockers?
Yeah. Shocking. Oh, anyway, he's made these erotic oil paintings again. Don't go down the road. Just don't.
Those are the ones you see him in the gallery and you automatically.
That's how I found him. I was like, what? Don't. Take my word for it. You don't want to.
Oh.
Okay.
We shouldn't laugh at him. What if he really is being kidnapped and taken to the intergalactic space station, and they put him on display for their diddle gratitudes and humana.
He's basically in the human sex trade.
Oh gosh. Oh, he's like an international star. There's like out there just past Mars, there's a billboard, We'll have Mr. Huggins Tuesday, February 15th at freaking 9 p.m. at the Intergalactic Space Station or whatever they call it.
All right, so the next one is a businesswoman from Cheshire, England. She goes by Suzanne Brown. That's her pseudonym. Now, she claims that
She's going with the pseudonym?
Yeah, I can't imagine why. She claimed that she was visited repeatedly by an alien named Morocco from 1965 to 1989. Morocco is about 5 foot tall, shoulder-length blonde hair, and a skin-tight jumpsuit.
Morocco sounds like he comes right off of a Fabio novel. Does a skin-tight jumpsuit notoriously only button up to just above the navel and then have a broad collar on it?
Now, the first encounter with her, she was only 12 years old.
These dirty aliens. What is going on?
They continued for years, and she reported visiting the inside of a spaceship once and seeing small, gray, ageless infants. I don't know what, I mean, ageless. I mean, they're infants. What do you mean ageless? So after the breakdown of her earthly marriage, she says, Brown's relationship with Morocco took a sinister turn. How is it not sinister when you're 12?
Oh, yeah, it kind of started out sinister, and then...
At this point, he started using mind control to force her into these encounters, and she described the experience as a nightmare that was real.
Was he trying to feed her pudding, maybe dancing in a sweater awkwardly?
I don't know. So after her last one, about a month had gone by when she discovered that she was pregnant. After another month, she awoke in the night feeling terrible abdominal pains. She claims that Morocco at that time was in the room with her. He told her not to worry, that his people were simply taking what was theirs. Now, this is another thing.
Yeah, but half of that's hers. I mean, even though he came in like Dr. Huxtable and, started controlling the situation, half of that's still hers.
So she says she passed out, awoke in a bed of blood, having possibly suffered a miscarriage. Yeah. Having possibly suffered a miscarriage. It says it wasn't until months later that Morocco again took her and he showed her this little gray infant. And somehow she said, I knew that thing had come from my body. I had this connection to it. And I also knew that it had been removed from the inside of my body the night of Morocco's last visit. So she just said she just knew that. Now, she also claims that Morocco's visits stopped entirely. This is another common occurrence. They stopped entirely.
Once he got what he wanted.
When she went through menopause.
Oh, yes. That's that interview we had. That's I'm digging back a year. I need to go. I should have went back and watched that or listened to it. She said that, was it her that said her children may have had visitations also?
Yes.
So they may have jumped onto the next. Once she hit menopause, they may have went on to the next iteration.
Yeah. So we're going to take it back really far. 1988. It's not that far, but it feels far.
Really far. I mean, hell, how old was I in 88?
11
13.
So Australian man by the name of Peter Corey alleged that he was lying in bed when he suddenly found himself paralyzed and surrounded by strange alien beings. One of them, a tall, thin, golden figure with large black eyes, inserted a needle into the side of his head and he blacked out. When he regained
Put a needle in the side, like through the skull.
Listen, the sperm's not there.
They were just probing. Where is it?
Nope.
Then finally, what are these useless bags down here? They're all wrinkly and gross.
So when he regained consciousness, he rushed into the next room to find his family had been, for lack of a better way to describe it, switched off. Now, we've heard that with many other abductees where...
That's the Men in Black little
Mm-hmm.
pen.
But they were kind of like almost unconscious. And when they awoke, they believed that only 10 minutes had passed, but it had actually been several hours.
So they knock his whole family out and then go to poking him and prodding him or whatever.
Yeah. All right.
Raisins.
4 years later, he dropped his wife at the train station in the early morning and went back home feeling tired, not feeling very good. He lied down, took a little nap, and when he woke up, he saw two bizarre looking naked women in his bed.
He's going for it. He's going in deep. You know what? Not only did the aliens come, but it was a menage a gleep glorp.
So, one woman had a Nordic appearance with light skin and elongated face.
Yeah, he's got to go for it.
Sharp
Hold on,
chin and blue eyes.
Let me guess the next one. Okay, my choices are gray, or
it gets worse.
Or an insectoid. That guy's got some. He needs to check into some therapy. You've got the Sam Squatch, which we do need to do a deep dive on the Sam Squatch romances that are out there, because folks, there are the romances. We should do a book review one day.
No, that's your show. I am not. I'm not diving into Sasquatch love.
I'm ordering them for you.
Oh, I ain't doing it. The other one.
Okay, go on. Was it a blob?
An Asian.
What?
With
he went
jet black eyes.
He drifted way off the path there.
Now,
my two alien mistresses.
one's a blonde and one's an Asian.
Oh. Really spreading out the spectrum on that one, big guy. What was his name again?
Corey. Peter Corey.
Peter Corey from Australia. Okay. All right.
Now,
go on, Peter.
He goes into this. Listen. He goes into this story.
Goes into detail.
Where he bites off a part of her nipple. And
Why did
it gets so much worse.
this guy?
I'm not gonna read it. Just know that there was hair wrapped around body parts that his wife found later, and okay, next person. Stephanie Faye Cohen. Now, she's a psychic, and she claims to have had repeated consensual sexual relations with a group of extraterrestrials.
We went from the threesome to intergalactic orgy.
Guess what she calls it?
What?
She refers to it as team spirit.
I figured out how to gain world peace, folks. Oh.
Okay. She believes that she enters this UFO in spirit form while her physical body is asleep. And these aliens originate from different planets. I mean, there's got to be a blonde and an Asian and several other ones. According to Cohen, these aliens originate from the Canis Major system and have a number of different forms, including some that resemble greys, reptilians, cats, and all of the Canis Major aliens indulge in this kind of human trafficking.
They just all get freaky.
Now,
but hers is consensual.
With team spirit.
So that's not
now,
trafficking. That's
Ian An octopus man is one of her closest.
This lady's straight up tentacle porning it.
Do not look up octopus man has sex with a woman. You'll regret it. I gotta clean my phone and bless it, holy water or something.
Well, let's go through some comments real quick. So Kendra says, y'all are laughing. I think y'all are laughing. Oh, come on now. I think I finally figured out my soulmate might be an alien. That's why I can't seem to find a good relationship.
This octopus man, she says, is her boyfriend. Well, not a boyfriend, but a good spirit friend. You know, he's part of Team Spirit.
Oh my gosh, tentacle porn on this show. I thought we'd never cross that boundary. Wonder if they have online dating. Find your perfect alien match.
Listen, somebody make that. It will be magically successful.
His family was switched out. That's crazy. All right, we need to see. What else we got in here? Obviously, you guys have no clue what it's like to be an abductee. Otherwise, you would not. It would not be a joke to you guys. You are correct.
Yes.
I agree with that, and I'm thankful that I don't know what it's like to be abducted, or especially abducted and
traumatized
and have
it violated. Some of these aren't violations, though. Some of them are purely consensual.
Yes. Well, that last lady, she with Team Spirit, that was kind of her jam, I think.
I'd never heard of octopus. I mean, we've talked about cephalopods and the octopuses, you know, that they do come from space.
Octopi, thank you.
That they come from space, you know, obviously from a comet or some kind of thing in the... Okay, next one. On March 2nd, 1978, a power failure hit the house of a Brazilian, Jose Inacio Alvaro. So he went outside to see what's happening, and among the 100 of witnesses, he observed a passing UFO. He described it to Omni magazine as gray-colored balls with like this luminous light surrounding them, you know, around the periphery of the ball. It was huge and bright like the sun, and I couldn't focus my eyes. After the UFO left and the power returned, Alvaro took a bus to his father's house. While looking out the window, he saw the UFO again and felt dazed and thought he was being called to walk into a nearby field. Eventually, he woke up in the field about a half a mile away with no memory of how he got there. Now, it was suggested that he do some hypnotic regression to recover his memory of the experience. And Alvaro, at the time or following his hypnotic regression, recalled having sex with a naked alien, which he described as tall and plump, with light almond-shaped eyes and long silver hair. Her skin, he says, was very light. Now, he says he felt emotionally confused by this encounter. He claimed that knowing the truth put him at ease.
So it sounds like he was kind of mind controlled into that.
Because he said he felt called.
Yeah, he was called into that field. And then, okay, again, does he kind of sound like he kind of woke up and the situation was going on?
No. So he remembers everything through hypnotic regression.
Okay.
But he was called into the field and then woke up hours later and didn't remember anything. So through the hypnotic regression, he was able to remember this encounter.
Well, remember when we talked to Calvin, when he was fishing, there was that lady, and she was kind of a reoccurring thing through.
Yeah. Through all of his experiences.
So now, Calvin didn't go into that detail and into those details with us. I'm wondering if that was a goal.
Could be.
Oh.
I like the idea of that UFO looking like that, because that's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably in Tiago's book because it happened
I
in
think
Brazil.
I think I went through it and saw that.
All right, the next one. Pamela Stonebrook from Los Angeles is a professional jazz singer who's had a number of erotic encounters with shape-shifting alien reptiles. Now, during her first encounter in 1993, she woke up one night aboard an alien spaceship. On this short metallic table were these 4 little girls, she said. They were very frail, like the Greys, but they had wispy hair, almost like what you would see from, cancer patients or chemotherapy.
Oh, so they didn't have like, yeah.
She said that they ran over
Were they
to her.
human?
Well, they were gray and frail. So I'm thinking that their bodies were kind of, not as muscular.
So kind of half human?
Yes. They ran over to her, grabbed her arms, and started calling her mommy. She says...
So she's had all these encounters, not thinking anything of it. Now, this is the thing that... So this would have had to have been made in a test tube or whatever, a synthetic...
Well, because she didn't carry it.
Because she didn't carry the baby.
At least not that she's aware of.
But how would they control that? That's a long time. 9 months? You can't just disappear off the earth for 9 months and then...
I don't know. That was another thing that Calvin talked about. Time is different.
That's true. That is true. But normally, when you go into space, time moves faster on Earth when you're away from it. So I'm talking way out of my marginal field of expertise, but time tends to have a direct link with gravity, that gravity and time interact differently.
So she says that these aliens live amongst us and present themselves as humans most of the time, but she caught glimpses of their reptilian nature.
So she was having these encounters with reptilians.
Yes.
What did they look like? Were they like winged and...
She says that, well-built, handsome, kind of your typical, man form, but the energy, and there would be times when they would become very aggressive, and the energy would feel much larger than human form. She said it would take on an energy that was palpable. You could feel it in the room, and then she would catch glimpses of their,
So,
eyelids.
Justin Bieber
Yeah.
and the Queen.
Yes. Their eyelids taking a different form. Now, she writes about all of these experiences in a book called A Jazz Singer's True Account of Extraterrestrial Contact. And
So when she was having these contacts, did she know that they were otherworldly?
she knew that they were different. She sensed that they were different. It wasn't until she was taken aboard and the alien babies said,
Mommy
to her, that she started to connect the dots. These people would pop in and out of her life, and she says that reptilians are not politically correct species. I mean, they're just not. They don't conform to, the human rituals of committal and things like that.
Courting and
Right. Or even, any kind of follow through. They just really do whatever they want to. So she used that as an excuse, as like this stopgap between what she knew to be totally.
so what we're saying is, Kendra, if the alien is your significant other, don't choose a reptilian alien. Right?
Right. And Nancy seems to be a little upset to be in the live chat. Nancy, you're
Yes.
welcome to leave. We're just having a great time.
Yeah, we try to have fun.
If you haven't watched our show before, welcome.
Yeah. I will make
We will laugh at everything. If you don't like it, if you're looking for a more serious show, we welcome you to go find Carl Sagan or something.
Yeah, we're not we try keeping it light, and I'm hoping that if any of these people who we are speaking about tonight want to reach out to us, they do, and we would love to have them on the show to tell us their story.
Yes.
Well, that'd be. I especially want to talk to old Peter down in Australia,
I want to know more about
or that
I want to know more about the team spirit.
team. Well, Peter in Australia, okay.
She disrobed, so I did.
It was, he was the one with the two entities that were, obviously his his ideation. Well, I shouldn't say obviously. That appear to my ears to be his ideation of what he fetishized.
Yes. Okay, so next one. Elizabeth Clare of South Africa. Clar, probably. Now, she claimed to have made contact with extraterrestrials while in the Drakensberg Mountains. I like that. Drakensberg.
That is a wild sounding mountain.
In an article for the Flying Saucer Review, she described how she met Venusians. Is that how you say it? Venusians?
Venusians, yeah. That's Venus.
So, Venusians, who are peaceful vegetarians who had been watching Earth and were concerned about the violence and brutality of the human race. So her story was similar to other accounts from abductees during that time period. However, 2 decades later, she released her autobiography, Beyond the Light Barrier. And she claims she was 10 years old when she first encountered a UFO, and she made some telepathic contact with Akon, not the rapper.
Although the rapper may have
Okay, baby,
got
it is the
his
rapper.
name from this.
So she says that her father, who also saw this object, speculated that it was a meteor, but Elizabeth replied that it was actually a spaceship that had just deflected a meteor that had been on a collision course with Earth.
So it saved us.
So it saved us. So the Venusians are not only vegetarians,
Heroic.
but they're heroic. Now, she also claimed that Zulu, of course, told her that she was destined to climb a mountain and have an encounter with heaven dwellers. A tornado had appeared just as the headman was speaking, but a silvery spaceship arrived and gently glided the tornado away from the homestead.
Okay, so first it stops a meteor.
Then it redirects
A tornado.
a tornado.
Okay.
Okay. Then, after several more sightings, Elizabeth made physical contact and entered the spaceship. Now, Akon and his shipmate Sharon came from a civilization located at on the 7 planets orbiting Proxima Centauri. Acon was a handsome older man with striking eyes and golden hair. I wonder about these names. Do they appear in a way for these people to remember them? Or are they, I don't know.
So do you think, are you wondering if like Akon's
Because
name
it
is,
seems very English. It seems very, so,
so do you think maybe they adjust their name so
because
that
would
it,
Acon be, I mean, these abductions happen all over the world. So would Acon be something different if it appeared to somebody in Germany?
like it'd have a phlegm sound in there?
Oh,
It
perhaps. I don't
sounds
know.
very angry and aggressive.
They just
It could be.
seem
Well,
like an
let's,
iteration for its audience.
let's say if I went somewhere and met a community that had a different means of speaking, I think I would adjust my name so that they could pronounce it.
Yes. Right.
Like
Yes.
if they rolled their D's or something.
Yes.
Or if rolling the R's had to happen, I obviously can't roll my R's and I'd have to practice to say my own name.
Okay, so after several more sightings, she made physical contact with these beings, and Acon claimed to be a scientist. He also told her that he had been watching her since she was a child. Now, he says she says that he told her, we rarely mate with Earth women. When we do, we keep the offspring to strengthen our race and infuse new blood.
This is the Venetians. They
Yes.
rarely mate with Earth women, but when we do, we kidnap the offspring.
Listen, we're going to save you from tornadoes, but not from toddlers.
The cost of our rescuing is
There is a price for everything. I don't know. Okay, so the next one. Meng, I'm not even going to try.
come on.
Zhao Gu? Meng Zhao Gu? He's a Chinese.
Okay.
And he's from the Heilongjiang province. He says that he was hard at work at the Red Flag logging camp in 1994 when he spied a mysterious metallic shimmering on a nearby mountainside.
I remember this, yeah.
So he suspected that it was a downed helicopter. So he sets out to investigate, hoping to collect scrap metal. But when he came near the wreckage, something hit him in the head and he blacked out. When he regained consciousness, he was initially confused and unable to communicate. He had also developed an irrational fear of iron. That's a strange fear.
That is a strange
I mean, like
fear.
not heavy objects, but iron in particular.
Yeah.
Now, later at home, when he was in bed, he awoke to find himself levitating. An alien woman appeared. He says she was 10 feet tall. Like, that's big.
Yeah.
He
go
says she
on.
has 12 fingers and long braided hair. Now, this particular intimate encounter,
I remember this story. Didn't it split up him and his wife?
well, it left him with a scar, like a jagged scar, 2 inches long. He doesn't really explain where it is, but apparently it happened all while he was levitating. Now, he asked to see the woman with who he had had sex in his next encounter. So he was taken back and he asked to see the woman with whom he had had sex, and he was told it was impossible. He was also told at that time that in 60 years on a distant planet, the son of a Chinese peasant will be born. In 60 years?
That's a long gestation.
Yeah. So they also told him that he would see his child one day, but they didn't give him any
Well,
details.
60 years. How long are they expecting him to carry on?
What if we incarnate?
Like when we talked to Heather.
Yeah. And then he's able to see his son.
What if he incarnates as the son of his son?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Jessica, we don't always mate with human women, but when we do, she says, say it in the Dos Equis guy voice.
The most interesting alien in the galaxy.
Oh. Okay, so next one. Last one. Antonio Villa Boas. I think we've talked about this. He's a Brazilian farmer. He noticed a strange white light in the sky for several days. One night, he was plowing a field alone at 1 a.m. when a red light in the sky came toward him rapidly. It was an egg-shaped craft, and it landed right in front of his tractor. Antonio tried to turn on the motor so he could get away, but the tractor wouldn't start.
Ah, yeah.
When he attempted to run, he was grabbed by a small creature in what he claims was it resembled a driver's suit with goggles.
Okay. A driver.
A weird uniform. It's a driver.
Well, maybe that's a spacesuit, though.
So he shoved the creature away, but was immediately captured by 3 more driver suit creatures with goggles. And the entities forced him into a small metal room in the awaiting spacecraft. So the craft that landed in front of the tractor,
Uh-huh.
these aliens get out.
So he's trying to haul ass in his tractor.
Uh-huh.
Notoriously fast vehicles.
The 1950s especially.
And so the craft catches up to him. The dudes.
And he says it was an egg-shaped, aerodynamics.
Okay, so the dudes get out and capture him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go on.
The captors held him down, arguing with each other in their dog-like barking language. This is what I'm talking about. Aliens.
There you go. Yeah. So that's something totally different. We wouldn't recognize it at all.
We wouldn't recognize it. But their names come to these people as something that's not so foreign.
Do you think maybe it's telepathy? Or do you think maybe that the Fabio alien that comes down is a half-breed itself? Because a totally different alien
It's bilingual.
had to make that so that could communicate with us. So like a gray that speaks only like telepathically had to kidnap a lady or a dude, whatever, get the bound chicka bow on, and then the Fabio, and that was just them to make a biological communication device.
Oh. It's a translator.
I'm telling you, glass shattering all over the place tonight.
So they held him down. They were arguing in like this barking language. Then they undressed him, giving him a sponge bath with clear, odorless liquid. This is trauma, people. Sponge bath? No. That creeps me out. They took a sample of his blood and left him in a cell with a comfortable bed. Well, that's nice. He lays down but realizes soon that the creatures were piping some kind of gas into the room.
Okay, now that's where it gets
Now
bad.
it's become an alien escape room.
They're becoming Dr. Huxtable. That ain't right.
So he says he started feeling nauseated. He vomited in the corner. And suddenly he was joined by this curious-looking woman, almond-shaped eyes, and...
So do they look human with just maybe a little larger than average eyes?
Well, he says that these eyes extended farther around her head than human eyes should.
So they were just larger.
And off to the sides.
Yeah.
Like a grasshopper.
Well, they'd have to be off to the sides because once you get larger, you run out of head.
That's true. She also had unusually high cheekbones and an oval shape and a pointed chin. Her silver blonde hair looked bleach.
Go on.
But her armpit and pubic hair were bright red. Can you imagine?
He's breaking down her public Air Force. Jeremy says sponge bath and a nice bed. He'll take one, please.
Okay. So they do their thing. It's somewhat consensual at this point. He believes that it's because of the gas that,
That he was consensual because of the gas.
it's semi-consensual.
It wasn't the fire engine public air.
Okay. Now, Antonio would later lament all they wanted was a good stallion to improve their stock. Antonio. You the man.
Next morning, his thumbs were deep in those belt buckles.
Okay, so following this encounter, he said that she, all right, I'm just going to say it. As she was leaving, she refused to kiss him, but wanted to bite him on the chin and make animal noises. She briefly pointed at her belly and then toward the sky, and then she just flew off.
She would bite him.
What kind of animal? Meow. I mean, what are we talking? I don't know.
Fish noises.
Okay. So he says at the end of this encounter, he wandered into the next room where the entities were talking. At first, they ignored him, but when Antonio tried to steal a clock-like device as proof of this encounter, the aliens took notice and kicked him off the ship. And then suddenly, the UFO shot into space,
because
disappeared forever.
He was trying to steal their stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Jeremy says, bright red pubes? One could look past that. Well, I don't know.
Oh, he put up a pig face, so maybe that was the animal that went. Oh, man.
So those were the...
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
There's so many more, but that was our version of what are those books?
Harlequin romances.
Yeah, this is our version of
some of these got a little deeper than Harlequin romance, like
Alien Harlequin romance,
like the Alien
Team Spirit,
menage a trois and orgies were. And sorry if your kids are around. Jessica. Jessica, have you been cruising around with dog aliens?
What did she say?
Might be a landing strip. Jessica said. Jessica says.
Natural redhead feeling awkward here. Oh, for hell's sake!
Oh man,
Jeremy, give me more. It's magic.
Oh, that's.
Listen.
You know what? We're sorry if we offended anyone.
No, we're not.
Tonight. Well, okay.
Not even close.
We've got to keep it fun. I mean, that's kind of what we do. I make bad jokes at any given time.
These stories are hilarious because we have no grayscale. And
that is true.
Unapologetically, this is what you get when you come to this podcast.
Well, hey, tune in for when I send Betsy down the Bigfoot romance.
I'm not.
Oh, you are.
We're going to have some Bigfoot enthusiast on here. You're making fun of the Sasquatch. They love humans. I've encountered them many times. You don't know what it's like. Oh. Anyway, thanks for joining, guys.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining. I gotta start remembering to do this, but yeah, if you get the chance, if you could
Mm.
go on to YouTube and follow us there, BitChute, and if you're on iTunes or any of your podcatchers, throw us out a follow and everything else, or a review, or you know, or in the case of people who are angry with us, give us a bad review
Do it.
if you have to. But yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. That was a fun show.
Yeah.
We have tarot hexes coming up next, if I remember,
Oh.
and
Yes.
I am extremely excited for that, to learn that you can.
I don't understand it.
Well,
I don't know if you hex the card, give the card to someone. If
I don't
you,
know. That's what I want to know. If you can use those cards just beyond kind of the is it fortune telling or predicting, whatever, I don't know what the words are, but if you can use it beyond that, that's extremely wild.
and
And
Moon's the best.
Moon is the best.
So excited.
Join us. Moon is a fantastic human. She is awesome. And I think we need to maybe try to build one of those spell bottles that she builds.
Yeah, she would have to give us some major instructions. I know that Mary and Sarah were kind of leading us down that
Yeah.
direction, but
Yeah.
we need like step by step.
Yeah, I definitely you would need to start out like, imagine if you were teaching geometry to a kindergartner.
This is a square.
Tiffany, yeah, Tiffany. We can't wait till we get to next week. Also on Friday, we've got oh heck. We've got a kind of a surprise guest on Friday. So that'll be in the daytime. It'll be at noon our
Oh
time.
yeah.
So
So we'll post it.
yeah,
We'll do it live. I know
we'll do
that's
it-
kind of a weird time. We'll do it live, but we'll also post it. So
but
that,
yes, we've got this is a little bit of a ghost show coming up on Friday, so that'll be super fun.
Yeah.
Super exciting. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So we will see you on Friday, and we will see you again next Tuesday. Happy Valentines.
yes.
Take your special significant other out for something fun and consensual.
Yes, and have a great week.
Yes, have a great week.